Hello everybody, Atkpwr here with another How to Play the Divisions with our 116th Panzer Division. Let's dive right into this thing. If you enjoyed these, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and consider checking out that Patreon link down below for those who love the channel. Thanks a bunch, everyone. Let's dive right in here. So, 116th, a division that I can't remember a time in the game where this division was ever, like, top tier. I really can't. I'm trying to think of one. If there was, it was before my time. Like, it was, you know, this game is what now? Like 8 years old? 6, 7, 8 years old? I've been playing it for like 5, I think. 4 or 5 years. And I don't remember any time this division's ever really been on top. And this is another one of these divisions. I feel like they really need to just come back and maybe touch on the slot cost a little. This one not as much as, like, say, Panzer that we just saw. If you didn't see that one, go check it out. This division, I do actually think is fun. It just doesn't... It's just like a lot of the German Panzer divisions. It just doesn't get there. I actually not 100% sure why on this one. I have ideas, but I'm not 100% sure why. But let's dive into this thing. So Maverick is the way to go with this division. You guys know if I'm not playing balance, there's a dang good reason for it. This division just doesn't have the depth for a balanced game. You don't have the infantry to back your troops up. Your AA can run dry. Your RD is good, but doesn't get, isn't like absolutely astronaut. I mean, it's good. I shouldn't say that. Just something about this division just doesn't go long for me. It's mostly that infantry tab, right? You just don't have the infantry to go super duper deep long. These German Panzer divisions just really struggle to do that. But let's dive right in here. So we have a lot of options here in the Recon tab. This Recon tab is pretty fantastic. The things we are taking, we have the Atkpwr. I do want infantry recon whenever possible. We noticed in my Panzer deck, I did leave them go because there's just so many good options in that division, but I really didn't want to leave them go here. So we do have them. One vet, because it does actually, veterancy does increase the optics. There's nothing that says that. You have no way to know that. I'm just telling you the truth. The increase in... increasing their veterancy does improve their optics. That does not work for air recon. Small note that you should know. Then we're taking the SPW234/1. This thing is phenomenal. It's similar to an SPW231, but it's actually better. I'm pretty sure it has a higher rate of fire. Someone in the comments told me the other day that it actually does have a higher rate of fire. I forgot to look to confirm that, but I'm going to assume they're right. So slightly higher rate of fire. It does have better armor as well. It's got a nice MG42 there, good 85 kilometers an hour on the road, very high optics. This thing's phenomenal. It is 40 points. It's a little bit more expensive than average. I'm taking it no vet because I do want all 6 of these. And as I mentioned before, veterancy on these, sorry about this, my light was weird. Veterancy on these armored cars, I'm really on the fence about. I don't think giving autocannon units increased veterancy gives them a ton of benefit. And generally speaking, I don't see a lot of people double vetting these, which generally means that vetting doesn't do much if double vetting's not worth doing it. So, and most things get like general single vetted. That's like your baseline is single vetting things. But if you don't want to double vet something, then I don't feel like veterancy does enough for it. And then we have the SPW234/3, which is basically your SPW233. Similar, almost identical to that with the better armor. So this thing is phenomenal, as we know. The problem with this one, it does come in at lower availability. This is no vet, and you still only get 3. I do like getting 3 because 3 allows you to cover off 3 lanes. And usually, most of the maps are kind of 3-lane-ish. You kind of have a left, center, and right of the map. It's not like perfectly divided that way, but generally speaking, there's a reinforcement road going to the right side, there's one going to the middle, and there's one going to the left. So if you want to be able to cover off all 3 of those roads, you need 3 of these. I would love to vet it. Vetting it does make it land more transport hits at the beginning and stuff, which is definitely nice. But unfortunately, I do think the availability hit to this unit is a little much. I kind of feel like it should be 4. Isn't the normal SPW233 6? I feel like you get 6 unvetted. Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure about that, actually. So I don't know why this one is literally half the availability. Seems a little much just for a little bit of extra armor. I'm trying to think if I'm missing any other stats. No, I think there's more HE shells. I do think it has more ammo. But other than that, it's the same exact gun. Same speed. I'm trying to think if there's anything different at all about this unit, and I don't think there is. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I don't think there is. Things we're leaving behind. BMWs, you know why. We already have the Atkpwr Spähtroop. Again, I I just don't see the 5 extra points worth it. I don't want this thing firing its machine gun. I don't want it to get spotted. The extra health is nice. I'm not going to deny that having 2 extra guys is not a bad thing per se. Do the Atkpwr come in anything good? The answer is no, which is unfortunate. Then we have the SDKFZ 250/8. I do love these things. I truly do, but the slots are getting expensive at 3 points, which is why these guys don't really fit in. The SPWs here are by way stronger than this thing overall. I mean, this thing has the same gun. Not this one, sorry. This has the same gun, you can see there, but this one comes with heat shells and AP and obviously moves at 15 kilometers an hour faster. So hard to argue taking the SDKFZ, even though it is 15 points cheaper. Panzer IV-J, I mean, Panzer IV-Js are fine. I mean, they're great. They're Panzer IVs. They're solid. They have recon. Again, for 3 slot points when you have plenty of tank tabs that, you know, go all the way up to here on just 2. Oh, what did I just take out? Crap. Oh, the C-face card to these guys. Sorry. It's hard to argue to add Panzer IV-Js. It just is. Panther D, yeah, once again, it would be great to have a recon Panther. For 3 points on the slot, I just don't think it's worth it. You got plenty of recon here with your armored cars, and you actually have Atkpwr this time to spot for the Panther. Bring them in together so you can spot for the Panther. I mean, there you go. So that's the recon tab. Is flexible, though. If you really want to use that 3-point slot, you can cut somewhere else to find room for this Panther. I just don't think it's worth it. And we'll talk about the whole Panther, because I had a lot of debate in the comments on Panzer. And this division is very similar to Panzer, but I actually think this one is better. Not like significantly, but yes, I definitely think it's better. Now, infantry tab. This is definitely where the upgrade from Panzer starts to come in, because there are some units here that do make this division a lot more viable. First off, you don't have to bring the entire division in half-tracks. Yes, you actually do need to bring a lot of the units in, because you are extremely limited on Opel Blitzes and stuff. I forget if there is another transport even. No, you're really limited on transports. Like, you're almost forced into the half-tracks. But we're taking a Pioneer here, which means I do feel comfortable enough with the infantry numbers that you can bring a leader in. Then you have the Ersatz Pioneer, which is an excellent unit. I mean, it really is. This is actually a very good unit. It's the same price as a normal. We can even compare them. It's the same price as a normal Pioneer. Has the same health, right, unit-wise. It has a better machine gun. It's got an MG42 instead of an MG34, which is a significant upgrade, right? So those are the upgrades. The downgrades, of course, it has 1 less MP40, which technically on a CQC unit is bad, right? Now, one MP40 ain't making a big difference. Like, let's be real here. It's making a very small difference, but technically it is a downgrade. And obviously the big downgrade is you're going from disheartened, you know, non-disheartened to disheartened. But even beyond that, I did forget the most important difference. You get 12 of these and 5 of these. That's a huge availability bonus. You can get, now the thing is though, the curve is actually not amazing. You only get 18 in B. Now 18 in B is still a lot, don't get me wrong. That's the same as an unvetted card of Panzergrens. But 12 in A is way above the availability curve. Like, this is abnormally high, so it's hard to not take these guys in A, because you just get so many on the card in A phase compared to every other card in A phase. It's hard to argue to put them in B. Even though you get 18, you can get 18 on a card of everything else. You cannot get 12 on a card in A of any other unit. So it's really hard to say, no, I don't want these in A. So yeah, truthfully, the disheartened almost helps, depending on the unit you're fighting. Like, if you're going grenade on grenade unit, so they have a Pioneer, you have a Pioneer, a Sapri, or whatever, you know, some sort of grenade tossing normal unit. I'm not talking like an Iskarukma, which has a whole bunch of other great stuff around it. Just a normal Pioneer. This is better because your unit gets pinned faster, which means once they throw their grenade, you can retreat more quickly and not get hit by the full grenade blast. Now, the issue, of course, always with disheartened units at CQC is they're going to obviously build up suppression faster, which means they get surrendered faster. So you have to be extra careful with these guys, because they do get pinned down really fast and can get surrendered pretty easily. So you do have to be careful. But the 12 availability, the fact that these guys are actually okay linemen, make them hard. You definitely don't pass on these guys in this division. That would be a terrible choice. Don't expect them to like light the world on fire, but they are solid. Then we have 2 cards of Panzergrens coming in SDKFZ 251s. We only have enough Opel Blitzes for a couple cards of units here. Can the Sturm Pioneers come anything else? No. That is really disappointing. Actually, if I double vet though, I could bring him in the Horsch. I'm actually gonna make that change right now, and that means I can bring these guys in the Opal Blitz. So making some adjustments here. Love it already. So yeah, anyway, now we've changed it. Now the Panzergren with the Panzerfaust comes in the Opal Blitz, and the non-Panzerfaust one comes in without. Now, why am I doing it this way specifically? Because I want the Panzerfaust unit to be able to get in early, like going in the original reinforcements, and have the Panzerfaust available if my opponent is somehow rushing me with armored cars or transports or something and is trying to get in really tight with me. The Panzerfaust unit will save the day in those situations. These are both vetted, of course. Getting into B phase, we have a now double, as you saw, now double vetted card of Sturm Pioneers. I'm a little scared of the availability lack there. You know, we are now at 58 infantry, but that's not the worst. For Maverick, that's definitely plenty. So then we now have double vet Sturm Pioneers coming in the Horsch. We have a B phase card here of Panzergrens also coming in the SDK of Zed. And then finally in C phase, we have a double vet card of Panzergrens with Panzerfaust coming in specifically the Opal Blitz. Why? Because we're now in C phase. We don't have that many points, and the 5 points for the half track could make a difference. Also, in C phase for Maverick, we are now in defense mode. I'm emergency calling in units to try to hold ground. I don't have time to wait for a half track to while its way up to the front line. No time for that. I need to reinforce it immediately. Now, fun fact I've never noticed here, guys. Just something I want to point out, and I just have never seen it because I don't double vet units very often. Panzergrens actually have a worse double veterancy availability in C phase, like non-Panzerfaust ones. That's really weird. I never noticed that, and I don't really understand why. Because base vet, they have a higher availability. Like no vet, they have 27 instead of 24. When you go to one vet, they both have 18. But when you get to double vet, Panzerfaust units have a higher availability. Why? What is the meaning of this? It doesn't actually make any sense. I would think just like in A phase, like these guys have less availability. It's one less availability on non-vet. I don't get it. Do they have better availability double vetted? What? Wait. Why? I have never noticed this before. I don't know why I haven't noticed it. I guess because I don't use double vet guys very often. Why do the Panzerfaust ones have better double vet curves? They end up on 4 and the Panzergrens end up on 3. What? This is so weird. Smart people who are on strike team and stuff, explain to me what the thinking behind this is. I'm so confused. So unvetted non-Panzerfaust ones are non-AT are better, but double vetted AT ones are better. Availability. Okay. It's really strange. Never noticed it before. Things I'm leaving at home. Ersatz. I'm sorry, I don't think Ersatz have a place right now in the meta. Infantry are too good, and spam infantry just get cut down so fast, they don't even hold ground like they used to. Like, before there was a legitimate argument like, oh, these guys hold ground, they'll, you know, you can sprinkle them all over the map, and they do stuff. Infantry in the game now are so strong, these guys don't even hold up for like a millisecond. They get absolutely just cut down immediately, and they end up being almost useless. So I don't even want to waste 15 points on them. They just like insta die. Yeah, they might hold a flag. Fine. Throw an Ersatz Pioneer. They might actually do something if the time comes. They don't have a place these days, I feel personally. You actually do get a second card of 20-point leader in this deck, which is really bummer that you can't use it, but it is here. If you want, I mean, you could take a Panzerfaust over a grenade. I actually kind of like the grenade more. In emergency situations, the grenade actually has come in clutch many times. Sturm Pioneer card we don't have room for on. I mean, you could take out, I guess, a Panzergren card and put more Sturm Pioneers in. That is an option. Do I think 5 Sturm Pioneers are winning you the game? Probably not. Pioneers, I would take the Sturm Pioneers before I took Pioneers, honestly. The Sturm Pioneers are just better. Like, they are, even if with a smaller squad. They're just actually better at CQC, in my opinion. 2 of these guys will win most CQC fights. These guys lose most CQC fights, in my experience. Or they walk out of it severely damaged. And then more leaders. So that's what we got. Infantry tab. Okay, time to have a discussion, guys. This is a 1v1 deck, okay? Everyone needs to understand you do not call in more than 5 Panthers in a 1v1 game. You just don't. You really don't. And yes, in niche cases, sure. If you're playing a balance versus balance grind fest, sure, bring your C-phase card of Panthers and have at it. But in a Maverick deck, you're not bringing in 15 Panthers. I'm sorry, heavy tank lovers of the world. It's not good. If you are, you're doing something wrong and probably losing horrendously somewhere else on the map. I can't imagine you're not getting absolutely smacked everywhere else on the map. So that's why I'm not just shoving Panthers everywhere I can. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't play right, and it's not the way to win a 1v1 game. 10v10, load up. Load up. Take your 7 cards of Panther Gs and be the most obnoxious dude in the game. But you can't do that in 1v1. You'll lose. You'll lose really, really badly. So the deck here, though, you do get a card of Panzer 3Ls. Fantastic. Panzer 3s are great. They've been forever. 40 points for a tank that can easily trade up to a 110-point tank or a 130-point tank. This thing is absolutely the nuts. No reason not to take. I'm actually double vetting it, which is a pretty big availability hit. Like, you're going from, if you went, I would never go unvetted, but you're going from 6 to 4. Again, in my head, the argument is I'm spending my points everywhere. I don't have enough points to be calling in 6 Panzer 3s. But I did have this single vetted up till a time recently, but getting that sweet 10 rounds a minute with accuracy at over 80%, it's hard to pass up. That's hard to pass up. It just is. Then we have the Panzer IV-J. Now, just a note on this. Why is this unit cheaper than a Panzer IV-H? There's nothing here that implies why. Like, there's no reason. Like, why? Same armor, same speed, same gun, same machine guns. The difference is, historically, the Panzer IV-J did not have a engine. It didn't have a not remote controlled, but it didn't have an engine-powered turret. The turret was hand-cranked. It didn't have mechanics in it to move it, which means the turret turn speed on this unit is horribly slow. Very much noticeable compared to a Panzer IV-H. Is it worth it? Yes. 5 points less and a better availability curve in A, right? Because no, it's not better availability curve. I apologize. Wrong. Okay, but 5 points less does matter. That's why we're taking it. But do know the turret turn speed does come into play, and it will come up from time to time. Then finally, to round out A phase, a Panther. There you go. Leader Panther. Get her done. Get it done. Phase B, Panzer Force, double vetted again. Notice both these double vet. I'm not double vetting this Panther leader. I can't put it double vetted in A. So, can't do it. Can I double vet this? Sometimes you can get away. Like, sometimes there's weird double vetting things, but it's not working out here. Panzer IV-H, double vet here in B phase. Solid. Solid. It can trade up well. Be careful with them. They die easily, but if you're putting them up against other tanks, they do really well. Panther A card here, single vet. I don't like Panthers unvetted. Let me just be clear about that. They really are not great unvetted. They do okay at single vet, and they do actually start to get pretty solid at double vet, but they're still not phenomenal. That's 6 rounds a minute, just missing out on the 10 rounds a minute when you double vet it. So it's kind of disappointing. Then B phase, we are also bringing a Panther G leader here. Okay, this is in the situation we run into IS-2s or, God forbid, King Tigers. Now, please be aware, APCR shells, okay? If you don't know, go check out my How to Understand Ammo in Steel Division 2 video. But APCR shells are based on velocity, okay? So, like, real life, it's a very high penetration, high velocity round. I can't remember what the actual acronym means. And you can tell me in the comments. I just don't remember right now. So basically what happens is the drop-off at range on APCR is much steeper than AP, which has a slower drop-off compared to... So if we started them the same, the APCR would drop much faster than the AP in terms of penetration. So if you are attacking IS-2 at maximum range, at 1,750 meters range, with the APCR, you're not going to pen. The actual penetration at max range with this thing is probably close to the AP shell's penetration. Probably. Honestly, at 1750. You need to be probably within about 1,000 meters for this thing to actually start being worth using, in my opinion, okay? So if you're actually using this to try to kill IS-2s and King Tigers and, like, the big bad boys of the game, you gotta get within 1,000 meters. Otherwise, it's not making a difference. It's not gonna help you. So just be aware of that with your Panther Gs. They are not penning 250 at 1,750 meter range. Just understand that. You're going to be sorely disappointed at their performance if you're attempting to get that to happen. And finally, C phase, we do have a double vetted card of Panzer IV-H's. We can bring one in a tick. Yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is. What we're leaving behind, more Panzer IVs, more Panthers. You don't really need them. Again, you're not calling in more than 10 guys, I'm sorry. I mean, more than 5. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Support tab. This tab is pretty fantastic. There's not enough room for it all. And this is where I feel like they could come back and kind of make this a little bit less awful. Add another slot here, bump this down to 2, and then go 3, 4. We're taking Flammenwerfers. We need some speed at the beginning of the game. We don't have much. We need it kind of desperately. Then MG42s, hard to not take a card of machine guns. It's pretty painful not to have them. Panzer 3N over the Panzer 4 here. Very similar, but the Panzer 3N has better armor, of course. We definitely would like that. Does it have a better vet curve? No, it does not have a better availability curve. So, arguable. I think the extra armor does actually matter here. 70 millimeters does actually start to bounce some shells. 50 millimeters really does not. So, that's the reasoning there. Grilla. And the Grilla is fantastic. You need your 2K HE for sure. And then Opel Blitz munitions, you need ammo. There's no getting around it. We do need this. So, yeah, my wife is showing me the thermometer. It's 60 degrees in my basement. It's chill. That's why I wear this. That's why I wear this beautiful, gigantic, now it has a hood. Now I can be like Jedi Master of Steel Division 2. Perfect. I'm ready, guys. Or I could be like a camouflage sniper on a mountain. I don't feel bad. It's even embroidered. Wait, where is it? Right there. It says Atkpwr Gaming. It's pretty sick. My brother-in-law got this for me for Christmas, and his wife. I was pretty pumped, I'm not going to lie, in my 60-degree basement. Anyway, so, yeah. We're not taking Commander. Arguable, but I just don't feel like I use Commanders as much in Maverick decks. But if I did, I would take a Panther. I would actually take this Panther, because you are getting like a premium. The Commander himself is worth like 110 points, essentially, like if you consider, or really like 100 points is the Commander, basically, is the price for the Commander. So basically, you're getting a discount on the Panther. So, yeah, that's the thought process there. Anti-tank. You get some good options here again. Again, another great tab. Like, it feels like this division should be good, but the infantry are so lacking, it makes it hard. Panzerschreck, yes, you need some Panzerschrecks this time. Martyr 3, one of the most cost-efficient AT guns in the game. At 35 points, this thing can kill things that cost double or even triple its cost. Hard to not take this thing. It's pretty fantastic. Pack 40, I don't really leave home without him. Jagdpanzer 4, this thing is the ultimate weapon against many allied divisions. Again, hard to leave at home. For 105 points, it can just do so much work. You don't need it because a lot of the tanks do something similar, but this just, for me personally, hits a really nice sweet spot at 105 points that I can just wipe out so many things that cost around the same amount. So what we're leaving behind, we don't need this little 28 mil. Yuck. Doesn't do good. Martyr 2, redundant. It functions very similarly at the end of the day to a Panzer 4 in this kind of deck. We don't really need more Pack 40s. And the Stug 3, we got Panzer 4s. They function similar. Yes, this is technically cheaper, but the slot costs are so much more painful here in the AT tab. AA, the options are limited. You're not taking the 20 mil. It's trash. Okay, it's either the SDKFZ or the mobile wagons. I like the mobile wagons. They're 20 points cheaper. They probably won't kill things as well as the SDKFZ. I will admit that. But for 20 points cheaper, that does matter. These guys do block out things pretty well. I think either, it's the same availability, you can really take either. Honestly, both will work really well. I would not say one is much worse or much better than the other in this case. Technically, the SDKFZ 7.1 is better. It's 20 points more, it is better. But if you want to save the 20 points, save the 20 points, you know? Arty-wise, yes, it's a good Arty tab. I misspoke earlier the more I thought about it. I'm taking so little, and it makes me feel bad, but in Maverick decks, I'm not calling in a lot of Arty, and the Arty I am calling in has to be very pinpoint and needs to be taking out important targets so I can continue my push. Like, that's the whole concept. So, we're taking the Panzerwerfer here. This thing is a Nebelwerfer. I would try to get as close as possible with this thing, especially because it can move, and I do find this one a little less reliable than the actual Nebelwerfer. Don't know why, it just feels less accurate. It should be better. It fires 10 rounds instead of 6. Something about it never feels as deadly as the actual Toad one. Can't figure out why. Let me know in the comments if you know. Like, I actually don't know why this one doesn't feel as deadly. But there was that game where the one player where, like, the top 3 guy in the world absolutely bent me over with one of these things, like 2 or 3 of these, and it made me the saddest person. Then we're taking the 81 mil mortar, again, for that pinpoint, taking out targets that need to be killed on the front line so I can continue my push. What we're leaving at home, these mortars, don't need them. This 105 is terrible. SK-18 I would take if I was taking more Arty. And there are 2-point slots here. You can force it in. I just don't know what I would take out for it, to be honest with you. 150, I probably wouldn't take this in this deck. I don't know if it's really necessary and is a big point. 380 mil, yeah, it's fine, I guess. It's good. You actually only get 1 call-in of it, so it's not actually that good For 170 points, you better be making a lot of ground with this thing. Now, it does wipe an area. Like, this one does really kill stuff. But it's a lot of points for one strike. Like, that you're just kind of banking your whole game on at that point. So, this is what I'm taking. Arguable. You know, if I had to switch something, I would honestly actually take out the 81 mortar and put in the SK-18s, I guess would be my only thought. But I really like the Panzerwerfer. I'm a sucker for rocket artillery. I do find it to be way more effective than like tube artillery for actually rapidly taking out important targets. Finally, the air tab. This did get a big upgrade with the JU-88s. They didn't used to have them, and now they do, and it was a big upgrade. I am actually taking the JU-87 here. This is the nice big bomber one. It does a lot of damage for 75 points. You get 3 availability, which is really nice. This is for the beginning of the game, basically to force your opponent to spend points on some AA. Basically to force your opponent to spend 100-some points on AA for your 75-point plane. That's a positive trade, even if your JU-87 doesn't kill anything, which it probably still might on the first run, right? So these are especially great against divisions that rely on expensive AA, like our own division, essentially. So divisions that don't have 25 mils. Even a Bofors is 90 points, right? So you're making a 15-point bonus, and if this thing gets through one time, you're probably making more like a 40-point. This thing's paying off a 40-point plus trade, and God forbid it gets through twice, then you're really going, right? Then you're really humming with these things. So yes, it has to be used well, and it might just be totally blanked if your opponent calls in early AA, but then only buy one and leave it alone, right? BF-109, G6, R6, I do want a fighter in here. I am vetting it once. I don't think you need more than 3 fighters in a Maverick deck. Honestly, if you're sinking more than 330 points into your fighters, you're probably not winning on the ground anymore. So I would not suggest taking more of this. I would even consider double vetting this. But that's the problem. Double vetting takes it down to 1 availability. 1 is pushing your luck. 1 is pushing your luck pretty hard, especially if you rely on the fighter to do your work. And then JU-88 with 2 500-kilogram bombs and a whole bunch of 50-kilogram bombs. I usually don't like this, but with the 2 500-kilogram bombs on top of it, it's pretty good. You could just go this one as well for 30 points left. It's Maverick. If I want to call in a big boomy thing, I'm calling in a big boomy thing. Like, I want booms to boom, baby. This will kill basically any target. This will sometimes fail. Because the bombs spread a little bit too much. Well, we're not taking the lighter JU-87. This thing's not very good. Even for 50 points, it's very unreliable. The bomb load, it's a little light. There's more JU-87s. I'm not taking the recon planes. Recon planes are always helpful. Don't get me wrong. I just couldn't find room for it. I don't want the BF-109 G6. It doesn't do enough damage, and it's not actually much faster than the BF-109 G6 R6. And then, like I said, this JU-88 can be switched out if you want something a little bit cheaper. 116th Panzer. I actually kind of like this division. It's kind of fun. It is. I can't say why. I think the main reason it's not good is the infantry. And again, the slot costs really suck. Like, why you have to have a 2, 3, 4 slot here is really a bone. I just don't like. This should really be 1, 2, 3. It gives you 2 more points to get some more RD or Air Force, which I don't think would make this division like crazy good. And I also think maybe like another support slot here with these 3 and 4s moved out and a 2 put here. I think that'd honestly be super reasonable. I just think a lot of these older divisions have nothing special about them, and then they make their slot costs absolutely painful and unnecessarily bad. That's actually what I would love to see them go back and fix a lot of the older divisions. Soviet, German, all of them. It's not even the units in them. It's the absolutely restrictive slot cost. But if you enjoyed this, guys, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and consider checking out the Patreon. Sorry, this one went a little long. A lot to talk about here, though. If you guys enjoyed it, like I said, do all the stuff, and have a fantastic day.